Okay.
All righty. I don't know where Jeff is. Frank's sick tonight. We're gonna get started. Yeah, I know. I gotta find the previous email that had the agenda. Okay, we're gonna get started, guys. Just bear with me while I find the agenda. So our fearless leader is sick as a dog. I don't know where Jeff is, but you got the two other cool guys. And we're more than capable. Sorry? Oh, we did say, I missed that email entirely. What's that? Terrible. Now, what did I do with the other one? Okay. He's retired. He doesn't. Please. I know. I know. Yeah, Lynn keeps them pretty busy, right? All right. Probably. All right. Okay, do we have anyone new? No one new? No one new? I see. Oh, there's someone new here. Oh, okay. Hello. Oh, awesome. Welcome to our meeting. You can tell us all the secrets about him. I hear he's a lot of trouble. You bribed her? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, as I said, unfortunately, Frank's not here. June is always our worst attended meeting anyway, so sorry about that. So he wanted to talk about the show. He wanted to talk about future demonstrations or topics for future meetings. He wants Ron to do a demo on creeks. That's
Do that, or if
yeah, summer's normally a bit more challenging. I'm playing two roles tonight. Three actually. Okay, is there any other suggestions for demos?
Well, another one I had.
Oh, yeah. Tiny, teeny tiny, one single brush here.
Well,
Cool. Okay, so digital microscope. Anything else? Any other things people either want or are willing to do? Anyone? Anyone?
Airbrush display, Stuart.
Airbrush demo?
Yes, please.
Probably have to give Larry Watson. Hmm? Because Frank's sick. Frank's normally Kevin's ride's normally Frank.
Yes, I'm sorry I can't grace you with my presence tonight.
Yep. Okay, airbrush demo. Anything else? Detailing 101 or how to deal with sloop. Okay. Okay, anything else? Anything anyone can think of right now? We'll post it on the Facebook page as well. Okay. Here. Okay, 2025 show. We made about $50.
What?
when it was all said and done. We got our seed money back, so that's important, but we made about $50, right?
I think all said and done, all of these stuff, I think,
Okay,
is,
Do
So
we
the-
have enough to do a show for next year?
Sorry,
do we have enough to do it?
we've got seed money for next year, yes.
Well, this is,
And there's been some discussion about that, whether it be yearly or even bi-yearly, so. One way, the other.
The idea of it behind 5 years, we should do all along.
Yeah.
We were shifting back and forth with Ottawa, but everybody moved their.
yeah, then Torcan came in.
I told you that is.
Yeah, Torcan came in and,
What?
no, we would,
Well, the Ottawa Valley way, but I don't think they do it much anymore.
Yeah.
it was around the same time, but we're looking at maybe if we decide to, whenever, we'll probably go to May. We realized June wasn't the best time. And we had a nice June day, which really affected things. So maybe we'll get a crappy May day. So yeah, the important thing is we did end up not in the red. So that's the important thing. We ended up with seed money. The costs were a big factor. So like insurance went through the roof. We got a good rate from Fanshawe, which was kept the same. But part of the thing is the committee is burnt out. So if there's going to be a show next year, we need a lot of new blood. Like we need at least 7 people on the committee, and that's a fair amount of work. We get great volunteers on the day. That's awesome, but we need people willing to do the work behind the scenes. You know, that's what it takes. The sponsorship portfolio is a full-time body. The other portfolio is a full-time body. The vendor portfolio is a full-time body. So that takes quite a bit of work as well. We really were short on the marketing side. So we need a marketing guy because we didn't have some of the signs up and stuff like that. Some people said they had trouble finding it. So the executives have made a deadline of July. So unless we get firm commitments from July, there will not be a show next. And if we don't have a show next year, then again, in July the following year, if we don't have firm commitments, there won't be a show after that. And I mean firm commitments. So we had some people who originally were going to be on the committee, and then we never heard again. So that was an issue. So we need at least 7 or 8 people and willing to put the time. Many hands make light work. The more we have, the easier it is. But the committee's burnt out. I was kept way busier than I wanted to be for this, and I'm not going to let that happen. So that was about it. Any other than that, the show was good. It was well, you know, we had a lot of good vendors. We did a lot of feedback at our post meeting. Any other comments?
I had a great time.
Okay, good.
The club table did really well.
Hold on, Kev. There's a question out in the floor here. Yep. Yeah. Next time, again, we fell down on that. It just lacked time. There's only so much time we had in the day. Yeah. Yeah. No, we were kept hopping, and again, you know, I know Bill was kept really, really busy, and then thank God George came in to give me. So. Yeah, definitely. We could use more. So we're hoping, and again, we're gonna send an email out, but we're hoping people to have a good hard think and be willing to step up. Because again, we do need it. You know, everyone likes when the show's on, but people behind the scenes, we gotta put it on. So I'm trying not to harp on that. There you go.
Just to bring people, or more people that we have. Become easy.
Yeah.
You're not totally embedded in the project, whatever. Instead of spending half hour or 2 minutes, spending 2 minutes. Might be a good idea.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, we could say, hey, you know, you're going to be this or that. That's okay.
Yep. Well, maybe what we can do is, yeah.
75% is phone calls or email.
Yeah, maybe what we'll do.
It's not like we've had any votes in our time. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Well, if I have time, I'll make a list. If I'm just about to start a new job on Friday. If not, we'll bring it up on, we'll go through them all on July. Because I've got a list of, you know, show chair, marketing, finance, all the core stuff.
Just the plan. Able to get the rest. All of that.
Yeah.
Crazy blue pair of features, you know, a couple of files, that do a little lot.
There's normally a guy that comes. He wasn't there this year. Oh, he passed away. Oh, he- no. Oh, wow. Yep. And that's why we're looking at every year. Yeah. Yep. We could do that if we had a marketing guy. Yep. 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 We could have done that if we had a marketing guy and the time. Yep. And that's why we're looking at going every year. That's one of the reasons we want to go yearly. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. And we could have done something similar. We just didn't have the bandwidth. There was no marketing guy full time, so we just didn't have the time. Yep. Nope. But we could if we had a plan in place and, yep. Yeah, but that's why we're saying July. That's why we want to do a go, no go in July. Yep. Yep. Well, and again, it's expensive to put on a show, but this is, like I say, this is why we. Nope, and that's a problem too. Yep. Yep. You want to speak to the sponsors, how you had a hell of a time this year trying to get. Yeah. Like. Shifted with me. One thing we need to look at. Every are carrying data. You're on the response. With your yeah. They poached our date. Yeah.
But that's the problem. But it's not water.
We used to do it in September. Fine. We did ours in September. Torcan poached our date. That's why.
Yeah.
So we were fine. That wasn't a big deal. But yeah, no, as I said, just the committee was burnt out. We definitely could have done more on the marketing side. We all acknowledge that. I want to get a full-time marketing guy. So whether we do it every year or every 2 years, will determine. And again, if we move it to May, then we'll keep it in the spring. We're not moving it back to fall. But just, yeah, it was just a lot of companies are tightening up right now too. Sponsorship dollars. Yeah, like things have changed a lot.
Once it does, I mean, forecast.
Yeah.
There's going to be.
Yep. And if we can, yep. Yep. And again, if we decide to do one next May, that'll be one of the first things. That'll be one of the first things for the marketing. Find out, figure out who's going to work in. We'll put some money in, rent a table, take our thing, take our banner down, etc. Do that. We could look at it. It depends what else we're jumping into. If we're getting 12 or go.
Talking about, talking about.
Yeah, it's one of the things we talked about originally when we set the date. We looked about moving it later, but there was a lot of. Yep. Oh yeah. Right, but that's why we say. But we'll have to see. Yeah. Any other comments? 320. Yeah. Yeah. Don't have an act. Over 6. Yeah, and I don't have an actual attendance figure because we have a sticker count. Do you have any idea? The money at the gate was all registration and that. If we had time or the wherewithal, we could probably figure it out, but it's not. Sorry? We blew through the wristbands in no time at all. For the vendors and we had to use the stamp. There was a bit of confusion. Yeah. Do you remember how many? Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, anyway, so give it some thought. There'll be an email blast going out. Yeah, we really need help. The existing committee is not going to be able to participate. Too much help. All right, let's go to the display table. So, and the crappy news, or the crappy news, or the negative vibes, some positive vibes. All right, so little tree.
That's my little practice piece for the, obviously a much larger diagram I'm working on. It's the first time I've, through, well, it's tutelage again, made a little pine tree and a little tree with fall foliage on it, stream bed. I just received some resin that I'm going to muck around with, putting little tints in and doing some practice pours before I even try my practice piece. And then I got to start adding some stones and stuff and roots to my bigger one when I feel comfortable doing that. But it's fun, learning curve, that's for sure. Oh yeah, Michael.
Mike to Mike. Okay, this big wooden truck is mine. It's not plastic, but there's a little story behind it. So most of you know when I retired, I went back to school primarily to tell my grandkids stay in school. My dad gave me an option. I did my career okay, but so now my grandkids say, well, Papa, when you come home from school, you're always so happy. I had a great time going back to school as an adult. It was fantastic. Most of my electives were woodwork. So one day I went in and my teacher gave me a portfolio with all the templates and the drawings for this. And he said, my rule of thumb is if I haven't built it, I don't want any of my students to do anything. But I'd like you to do this. I wasn't necessarily the oldest guy in the class, but I enjoyed helping my classmates. My teacher knew this, so he gave me a project that would allow me time to help everybody else as well. And this was the outcome. And most of it was done by, like the wheels were turned just on the bandsaw and the jigsaw. I could have got on the lathe. I got on the lathe next term, but not in time to do that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Michael, you said you weren't the oldest guy in the class?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay, next we have a British first or second rate. There we go. Did you get a picture for the online guys or everything? This was made a few years ago, just before COVID, and it was sitting sort of protected, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I approached the Legion down in Port Stanley, and I asked Sherry, I said, would you like it? Because I'm going to give you a Flower Class Corvette as well, which you guys, that's my year's build right now is the Flower Class Corvette. So this is HMS Victory. It's a Rebel kit. It's 1 to 220. And as you can see, there's the Royal Ensign in the background, the British Ensign. And on the sides, I included some notes about the ship itself. I think that's always interesting. The one thing I did not do is I did not spend an enormous amount of time painting it to make it look perfect because frankly, if you've seen the Victory when she was in operation, she was in a pretty sad shape. So we're not gonna, it's like guys who rebuild cars and then the paint job on this Ford is absolutely spectacular by the time they're finished, but it never came out of the factory like that. So, so I've concluded some of that. I didn't put any rigging in, mainly because that took too much time and I was just interested in building a thing and getting it done. So if anybody wants that rigging rope, which is about 2 foot in diameter, scale diameter, you can have it. Really, best rigging on a thing like that is 10 thou wire. I think that's it. And it's secured by a couple of really big screws, so you can tip it upside down, and it still stays there. Did I leave anything out, or? Okay, there you go. Each manufacturer. Rebel, the Rebel one. Okay. I think you're next with your Mac stuff and all your other stuff.
Yeah, I decided to get back into doing a little bit of machine and Krieger stuff. So at the show, this brand new kit put out by Wave of the 1/20th scale ice music, which is a very strange name, which is usually the case with those suits anyway. So it's a nice little kit. Looking forward to putting that together. And he is going to be piloting, I've got the tracks and the bogies and the front wheel and fender printed already. It's going to be a sci-fi or Machine and Krieger version of a Kettenkrad. So he'll be sitting in that piloting it. And then the other thing I have there on the table is from Amazon. It's a laser cut foam and thin wood ruined building. And so the laser cutting on the foam is done for the bricks and the cracks and stone window trim. And then they have a piece of thin plywood that has all of the laser cut pieces for the for all the timber frame. And it was a princely sum of $19. So a pretty good deal for a 135th building that looks like it'll go together half decent and paint up fairly well. And they have a whole bunch of those on Temu, right? All kinds of different styles of ruined buildings and whole buildings as well in a couple of different scales. So I'll give a little bit of a report on that once I put it together. But pretty cheap way to get a really nice building for your diorama. And that's it.
Okay, who did the Jag Panther?
That's Ryfield's 135th scale Jag Panther G2. It is the non-interior version of the kit. Nicely detailed kit, but it was definitely a bit of a, I found it a bit of a the only aftermarket I used on it was some of the BSK 3D printed stuff. Anyways, I was looking for sort of a quick, fun build because I wanted to do one of the really cool, like late war German factory camouflage. So I did all that, but it was less therapeutic than I had intended. It's not weathered yet because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for a base. That's that.
The last pair of dudes there with the black and yellow stripes are Warhammer 40K figures. They're called Knight Armigers. I call them Army Gers because I'm silly. I don't play the game because I'm far too stupid, but I like the vehicles and the figures and stuff. So I just finished those guys up last week. They'd been in a primed state for about a year and a half. I got tired of looking at them, thought I better get them done. I love the Warhammer stuff. They fit pretty good. Not a lot of aftermarket stuff on there other than some stuff on the base because you can get all kinds of cool stuff in your hobby shops for bases these days. Foliage and groundwork and all that. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to do more Warhammer as time goes on, I think.
All right, I think that's it. Anyone else have anything else? Mr. Wilson, what have you had?
Joe, it's a Datsun Fairlady 2000 SR 311. It's a forerunner to the Datsun 240Z. And it's I can make it as a hard top, or convertible, or a top or down. It's got racing parts to it because this SR 311 version of it did some racing. And it just caught my eye as being something really unusual. I kind of like some of these really early Japanese sports cars. They're a little different. So picked it up. It wasn't bad. And there's tons of reference pictures online for these cars. So it's great.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Well, we're not having a 50-50 tonight.
Yes, it is.
I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to say we're not having a 50-50 tonight. I think I've taken a brief vacation. I think that's the best way to do it, right? We'll say the tickets have taken a brief vacation. Okay.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. All righty. So there's just social time from here on. Like I said, thank you all for coming. Like I said, there's some comments about the meeting. and about the show. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Hey, Stuart,
Yes, sir.
our club table went really well, I thought.
Yep, our club table did well.
Did we clean out most of the kids?
I sold about half of mine.
You
Sold
sold
six.
out half of yours. That's awesome.
Yep, that's good. Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna shut down the live stream because I'm gonna head out a little bit early tonight.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll talk to
Okay.
you later.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.
All right, bye-bye.